A woman does not leave a lasting mark by just being naked in his bed. She makes a mark by being unforgettable in his presence. My friends, they've been dishonest with you. They handed you a script that's all show and no depth. They convinced you that the way to keep a man is to arch your back perfectly, say the right things during, moan like it's some movie scene, and hope he never looks elsewhere. But let's clear this up right now. What makes a man never forget you has nothing to do with how loud you get in bed, and everything to do with what you say to his subconscious while his body is inside yours. Before we go any further, pause with me for a second. If you're here listening, reflecting, maybe even healing while you listen, hit that like button, subscribe. This is not just content. I pour my heart into these words, into this truth, because I believe relationships should lift you, not drain you. And if you feel that too, if you're tired of the fluff, I need your support to keep this going. Now ladies, picture this. You're in the middle of that moment, skin on skin, breaths tangled. His body is inside you, but his mind is still wandering. His thoughts are split. Am I doing this right? Does she enjoy it? Will she stay after this? He's physically present, but emotionally floating. Then you lean in, not moaning, not performing, but whispering something that grips his soul. Something simple, something sacred, something that speaks to the part of him he hides from the world. His body might be moving, but now his spirit is listening. You see, intimacy is not the peak of connection. It's the gateway, and what you say in that gateway decides whether he walks away thinking that was nice or stays up at night, wondering what just happened to me. Because here's the truth. Every man has slept with a woman he forgot in a week. But the one who spoke to his shadow, the one who knew what to say when his armor was down, when his masculine instinct was exposed, while his mind was most open, he will never forget her. Not because of how she looked, but because of how she spoke. Carl Jung said, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate." Now, think about that. When a man is inside you, he is unconscious in the most spiritual way. He's vulnerable, unmasked. And if you know how to use your voice not to praise his performance, but to imprint his soul, you will not only deepen the connection, you'll engrave your energy into his mind. This is not about manipulation. It's not about playing mind games. It's about speaking life into a space that no one else has dared to touch. It's about knowing your power as a woman who doesn't just offer her body, but provides a moment so sacred, so thoughtful that it rewires how he sees you and how he sees himself. So stop shrinking your presence to fit a performance. Stop thinking sex is the prize. You are not the finish line, you are the beginning, and from this moment on, everything you say in that sacred space will reflect that truth. Write this in the comments if you're ready to live with this kind of energy. I imprint, I elevate, I remember who I am, type it below, don't overthink it, own it, let it be the start of something new, and stay with me because I'm about to show you exactly what to say during the most intimate moment of all. And when you do, he won't just want you, he won't just crave you, he'll never look at another woman the same again. Imagine this, you're in the quiet aftermath of foreplay, the room is dim, his body is close, warm, a bit shaky from anticipation. His hand finds your hip, your breath slows, and just before that final moment, just before you let him in, you pause not to tease, not to stall, but to choose. And in that pause, in that sacred second between permission and connection, you look him in the eye and say, "I don't just let you inside me. I let you witness me." That's not seduction. That's power. Because anyone can open their body, it takes a different kind of woman to open her energy, to know that her body is not a transaction, not a proving ground, not a tool to keep him around. It's a door, but her energy, that's the kingdom. And not every man gets the key. We've been told over and over that the power is in the moment he enters you, that his desire, his chase, his release is the goal. But let me flip that on its head. The most powerful moment in intimacy isn't when he enters your body. It's when you choose to let him access your energy. Your presence is what sanctifies the moment, and I don't mean sanctify like it's all serious and holy. I mean it in the way a fire sanctifies a cold room. A woman who knows her worth doesn't just invite a man into pleasure. She invites him into awareness, and awareness transforms people. Now, I know what you might be thinking, but isn't that too deep? What if he doesn't understand? Or worse, what if I've already let men in who didn't deserve it? Let me stop you right there. This isn't about shame. This is about awakening. You've grown. You're different now. And every time you choose presence over performance, you're reclaiming a piece of your power that was never supposed to be handed out easily. You're creating new patterns. You're teaching your body and your soul that you are not a stage for someone else's climax. You are the cathedral where connection happens. Think of it this way. Your body is the door, but your energy, that's the air inside the house. That's the warmth, the scent, the feeling that lingers when he's gone. And if a man enters without respect, he won't feel that depth. He won't even know what he missed. But the one who feels it, he'll never see another woman the same way again. Carl Jung said, "The privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are." And in intimacy, becoming who you are means showing up not just naked in flesh, but naked in presence. That's not easy, that's transformative. So next time you're with him, remember this: you don't have to impress him. You don't have to prove your worth through performance. When your energy is solid, when your gaze is soft but firm, when your presence speaks before your body does, he'll feel it. He'll feel you say it. Not with a giggle, not with hesitation, but with the calm of a woman who's come home to herself. I don't just let you inside me, I let you witness me and watch how everything shifts, not just in his body, but in his spirit. Now imagine this. He's inside you now, the moment has arrived, bodies tangled, breathing heavier. It's no longer about foreplay. It's about energy exchange, skin against skin, but something deeper is unfolding. His rhythm, his stillness, the way he looks at you or doesn't, the way he listens to your body or ignores it. All of it is speaking louder than words, and you feel it not just in your body, but in your gut. Your soul starts reading between the movements. That's when you lean in and whisper, slow, grounded, piercing. How you move inside me tells me who you are. He stiffens slightly, not from discomfort, but from realization. You just held up a mirror, not to shame him, not to control him, but to reflect him. You became the woman who sees beyond the act and into the essence. And once a man feels seen like that, he cannot unfeel it. You see, intimacy is never just physical. It's a mirror, a sacred space where every movement, every pause, every breath reveals his unconscious beliefs about connection, trust, power, and vulnerability. The way he enters you mirrors the way he approaches life. Is he present or distracted? Does he dominate or connect? Does he lead or perform? This moment strips away the performance and lays his truth bare. Carl Jung once said, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate." What he meant is this: we all carry hidden programming, emotional reflexes shaped by our past. And real intimacy, the kind where you're actually with each other, not just on each other, is where those hidden patterns come to light. And here's the truth most people won't say out loud. A man can fake love in texts. He can say the right things over dinner, but in bed his energy doesn't lie. His subconscious shows up, and if you're aware, if you're present, grounded, you'll catch it. You'll see who he really is when the mask drops and the ego softens. Now, don't get it twisted. This isn't about judging. This is about discernment. This is about being a woman who doesn't perform to earn love, but who reads the truth and responds wisely. Because when you speak to the part of him that he hasn't even acknowledged in himself, you do what no other woman has done. You hold a mirror to his masculinity and say, "Show me the man behind the motion." And you do it with love, with power, with depth. Say it slowly. Say it when the moment is thick, when he's focused, when the world outside the room has vanished. Let it hang in the air like incense. How you move inside me tells me who you are. Because that sentence, that's not flirtation. That's revelation. That's the voice of a woman who's not there to be taken. She's there to witness, to observe, to connect, and most importantly, to choose. So remember this: when he enters you, the performance ends, the mirror begins, and if you're awake in that moment, not just in body, but in soul, you'll know exactly who you're sharing that space with, and whether he deserves the kingdom you carry inside. But when a woman speaks in soft tones, slow rhythms, with intention instead of reaction, he hears something deeper, her soul, and that's not something he forgets. Think of your words like incense. You don't toss it around. You burn it gently. You let it stay in the air. And when you say something like, "It's not your body that overwhelms me, it's your presence," you're not just giving a compliment, you're crowning the moment. So don't rush it. Don't try to fill every second with words. Let him feel your silence. Then let your voice return like a sacred sound. Because when your words feel like they were earned, not just given, they don't just float in the room. They echo in his spirit. Touch the shadow, don't label it. Picture this: he's inside you. He's focused, steady, trying to be present and make the moment right for you. But under that strong rhythm and steady touch, there's something small flickering. You sense it, it's subtle, maybe in how he looks at your face, looking for a sign of approval. Maybe in the tension across his shoulders, like he's still trying to prove something even now. And that's when you lift your hand to his jaw. Look at him, not with hunger, but with depth, and whisper, "You don't have to prove anything. You already are enough." He pauses, not because you ruined the moment, but because you just touched something real. Even the most put-together man carries a shadow, a quiet fear, a voice inside that asks, "Am I enough? Can I really satisfy her? Does she feel me?" And most of the time, he doesn't even know he's asking that, because no one ever made space for him to feel safe enough to face it. But you just did. You didn't call it out. You didn't name the wound. You didn't hand him a mirror of judgment. You wrapped your voice around it like something soft and warm. And that's when the healing begins. Carl Jung once said, "People will do anything, no matter how strange, to avoid facing their own souls." But what if, instead of pushing a man to face his wound, you helped him soothe it quietly? What if you became the rare kind of woman who could hold space for a man's shadow without shrinking away or trying to fix it? Because here's the hidden truth. A man becomes attached to the woman who calms the part of himself that he keeps hidden from the world. Most people won't see it. They interact with the role he plays, the charming one, the bold one, the confident one. But under all of that is a boy who once believed he had to earn love. And now, as a man, he still carries that belief. Even when he's with you, even while he's inside you. But when you say, "You don't have to prove anything, you already are enough," you touch that fear. You don't shame it, you release it. You just became a place where he can breathe. Say it slowly. Say it like it's a truth you've always known. Let it land between his movements. Let it linger in the air, because that sentence, that isn't just support. It's transformation. And once he hears that, he won't need to keep proving himself again. And he'll never forget the woman who reminded him he didn't have to. Say what others never say. Picture this. His body is connected to yours. The rhythm is steady now. The breath, the pressure, the beat. It's all in harmony. Most women would moan here, say his name, maybe flatter his moves, play the role they think they're supposed to. But not you. You don't follow the script. You break it, because you didn't come here just to give him a show. You came to remind him of who he really is. So in the quiet moment between two breaths, your lips close to his neck, you whisper, "This isn't just sex to me. This is the moment I remember who you are." And suddenly his body stills, not in fear, but in realization. Because you didn't just awaken his body, you awakened his soul. That's what many women overlook. Not because they lack beauty or sensuality, but because they stay above the surface. They offer him sound, rhythm, and reaction, but not reflection. They don't speak to the meaning in the moment. They don't bring the one thing a powerful man can't find anywhere else. Truth in the middle of surrender. Want to be unforgettable. Stop trying to be sexy. Start being soulful. Stop trying to win his attention with movement. Start holding his devotion with your stillness. Because here's the secret nobody told you. When a man is inside you, his body is alert, yes, but his soul is wide open. His mask is gone, his instincts are raw, he's vulnerable even if he hides it, And in that moment you have a rare kind of power, the power to leave a mark, not with praise, but with truth. Carl Jung tells us that true change happens when the invisible becomes visible. That's what you did. You didn't just give him pleasure. You gave him a mirror. And do you know what that builds? Not just desire, not just excitement. It builds meaning. Say it. Speak what most women don't. Whisper what he's never heard in the middle of the moment. This isn't just sex to me. This is when I remember who you are. Say it with truth. Let it land like scripture. Let it shake something awake in him. Because the woman who can speak truth in the center of passion, she doesn't just stay in his bed. She becomes part of his soul. Afterglow words make a memory last. Picture this. The room is still now. The fire has faded. Your bodies are tangled, but the energy is soft. His breathing is calm. His arm is loosely wrapped around you like it finally found its home. He's quiet, resting, floating. This is when many women go quiet too, or start asking questions or pull away. But you know something different. You know this is the moment right after release, when his mind is open and his heart exposed, not because of lust, but because of release. You lean in, trace a finger on his chest and say it, not to sound poetic, just honest and real. You bring something out of me no one else ever has. That's rare. He may not answer right away, not because he didn't feel it, but because those words just shifted something inside him. And believe me, he'll remember those words. In traffic, in the shower, in the quiet moments when he misses you and doesn't know why, because what you say after it's over echoes. It lingers longer than the touch. It becomes part of the memory. It becomes the anchor. The thing his body might forget, but his mind will always remember. Afterglow is when a man is softest inside, his ego is quiet, his defenses are off, his guard is lying on the floor next to his clothes. That's not the time to go silent or rush to get dressed. That's the time to plant something deep, emotional, real. This is when attachment begins, not during the act, after it. Think of it like fresh cement. The mark you leave now will settle in. It becomes the story he tells himself about you. Not that you were great in bed, but something deeper, something he can't shake. She brought out a version of me I didn't know existed. Carl Jung once said, when two people meet, both are changed. And this is the shift. This is where your voice doesn't just touch, it transforms. So don't waste this time with casual words. Don't let it slip into silence. Don't fill it with noise. Say something that shows you saw something rare in yourself, and it only came alive with him. You bring something out of me no one else ever has. That's rare. Say it once. Say it slowly. Then go quiet again. Because the woman who knows how to speak after the climax, she doesn't just live in his memory. She becomes part of how he sees himself. Anchor it in his heart. Then let go. Picture this. The night has ended. The warmth is fading. The laughter has softened into breath and quiet. His eyes are getting heavy. Your head rests on his chest, but your spirit is still fully awake, and you know something others might miss. The end of the moment holds just as much power as the beginning if you know how to hold it. You shift a little, not to cling, but to find your own rhythm again. You put your hand on his chest, not to grasp, but to ground yourself. And just before he drifts into sleep, you say it calmly, steady, clear. I see you, but I don't need to keep you. That's what makes this real. He exhales. His arm holds you tighter, not from fear, but out of deep respect, because in that one line, you did what most can't. You didn't beg, you didn't perform, you didn't trap him in fantasy. You gave him something sacred, freedom and closeness in the same breath. Jung once said a moment only becomes transformation when it ends with awareness. That's what this is. Not just the end of a night, but the sealing of something bigger. You didn't just give him your body. You didn't just whisper soft truths while he was inside you. You followed through with emotional strength that doesn't come from being distant. It comes from being whole, because let's be honest, the feminine that clings often pushes away. But the one who releases with grace, she becomes unforgettable. She's the one who lingers in his thoughts, not because she tried to own him, but because she allowed him to be and still chose herself. That's where your real power blooms. It's not about holding on, it's about letting go with peace. It's about saying, what happened here was beautiful, and I'm still whole without holding onto it. Because the woman who can say, I see you, but I don't need to keep you, is never forgotten. She's the echo, the mark, the transformation, and as he sleeps or rises to leave or simply lays there wondering what just shifted, you've already become part of him, not just physically, but in thought, in feeling, in soul. So here's what it all leads to. When you stop performing and start speaking from a place of presence, you don't just offer pleasure, you offer meaning, and that, more than anything, is what makes a man stay. Not the body, not the sound, but that quiet moment where he felt something real and couldn't explain why. If this stirred something inside you, let it grow. Share it with someone who's tired of shallow love. Type this below if you're ready to leave a mark deeper than the surface. I move with meaning, stay grounded, stay rare. Because when you move with meaning, you stop chasing moments and start creating memories that breathe. You stop wondering how long he'll stay and start realizing that when you're fully in your essence, there is nothing to chase. You become the stillness that draws him in, not because you begged, not because you impressed, but because you revealed something that few ever dare to show, your wholeness. A woman who walks with that kind of truth doesn't need to grab attention. Her energy speaks before her words ever do. Her silence has gravity. Her glance feels like home, and when she touches, it's not just skin, it's soul. That kind of woman doesn't just awaken desire, she awakens remembrance. She reminds him of a part of himself he forgot, or maybe never fully knew. And that kind of connection, it doesn't get deleted, it doesn't fade, it imprints. So don't doubt the softness in you. Don't water down your depth just because others have only known how to swim in the shallow. Be the ocean, be the storm and the calm. Be the place where his spirit comes to breathe, not by proving, not by pushing, but by being fully rooted in who you are. You don't have to become louder to be heard. You don't have to compete with the noise to leave a mark. Your stillness is louder than performance. Your truth is more seductive than any script. And when you move with that kind of intention, low, grounded, aware, you stop being inexperienced. You become a turning point. He won't remember what playlist was on. He won't remember how many times you said his name, but he'll remember how he felt in your presence. He'll remember the silence that felt sacred, the truth that cracked him open, the softness that disarmed his defenses. He'll remember that with you, he didn't have to pretend, he didn't have to perform, he could just be, and that changes everything. So speak with your eyes, hold him with your stillness, mirror back to him his deepest truth. Not with judgment, but with grace. Let your words land like medicine, not noise. Let your body be honest, not choreographed. And when he finally looks at you with that soft kind of awe, like he's seeing something he can't name, just smile, because you already know. You didn't just touch his body. You didn't just pass through his life. You walked into his soul like you belonged there, and even if he leaves, even if the chapter ends, even if he never finds the words to say it, your presence will echo. Not every woman leaves a mark, not every moment creates meaning. But you moved with intention, you loved with awareness, you saw with clarity, and that's not something time erases. So when the lights go off and you're alone again, don't question your worth. Don't measure your value by who stayed. Measure it by how deeply you dared to show up. Because a woman who moves with meaning doesn't just attract love, she becomes it. And in a world addicted to fast attention and shallow thrills, you are the sacred pause. The breath he didn't know he was holding, the mirror he didn't know he needed, the sanctuary he didn't know he was searching for. You didn't have to shout, you didn't have to chase, you just had to remember who you are. So let him go if you must. Let the moment close softly, because the ones who are meant to rise with you will recognize you, not just by your body, but by the way your spirit feels like a return to something ancient. Something holy. This isn't about being unforgettable. This is about being undeniable, not because of what you did, but because of what you are. So move slowly, speak less, feel more, and let your presence say what your words never need to. That is the power of a woman who moves with meaning. That is the power of a woman who moves with meaning. She doesn't chase connection, she evokes it. She doesn't perform for closeness. She becomes the kind of closeness that lingers even after the body is gone. She's not trying to be everything. She's just completely herself, and that, in a world full of masks and noise, is rare. The truth is, most people don't remember what you wore. They don't remember what you said word for word. But they remember how you made them feel in the quietest moments, when nothing needed to be said, and yet everything was understood. And when you carry that kind of energy, you become unforgettable without trying. You become the woman who stays in his system like a melody he hums long after the music has stopped. And the most beautiful thing, you don't do it for him. You don't do it to win. You do it because it's who you are when you stop editing yourself to fit inside someone else's comfort zone. You speak truth not for applause, but because it's what your spirit came here to express. You allow yourself to feel deeply, not because it makes you weak, but because your depth is the portal to real intimacy, the kind that shakes a man awake in the middle of the night, not from desire, but from recognition. You become the echo that lives in his chest, the woman who didn't just love him, but revealed him to himself. And when you walk away, or if the story ends, you do it with your head high and your heart whole. Not bitter, not broken, because you were never trying to be chosen. You were simply choosing yourself in every moment, and that made all the difference. A woman like you doesn't wait to be seen. She sees herself. She doesn't wait to be claimed. She knows she is sacred. She doesn't shrink for safety. She expands for truth. And whether a man rises to meet her or not, that's not her burden to carry, because her value isn't proved in who stays. Her value lives in how deeply she's willing to live, love, and let go. And the more she moves in this truth, the more the world starts to shift around her. Not because she forced it, but because she finally stopped forcing herself. She's magnetic, not because of what she wears or how she moves, but because of the energy that hums around her when she's rooted in her own wholeness. Her eyes don't seduce, they see. Her body doesn't beg. It invites. Her voice doesn't plead, it lands. And when she whispers something simple like, "I see you," it doesn't come with demand, it comes with a knowing. And in that knowing, the right man will feel something crack open in him. A gate that's been closed for years. Not because she broke in, but because her presence felt safe enough for him to unlock it himself. Because that's the essence of sacred feminine power. It doesn't intrude, it allows. It doesn't perform. It radiates, it doesn't trap, it frees. So if you've ever been told you're too much, too deep, too emotional, too intense, take a breath. Come back home to yourself. Because it was never about being too much. It was about being too real for people still living on the surface. Let them go. Let the shallow waters ripple. You were made for depth, for wild oceans, for moments that stretch time and turn silence into scripture. And when he meets you there, if he's ready, he will never want to swim in the shallow again, because a man who has tasted your truth will never forget the flavor of it. He may not always say it. He may not know how to explain it. But his body will remember, his soul will remember. So stay slow, stay rooted. Let your walk be a prayer. Let your presence be a soft storm. Let your truth shape the air around you. You don't need to fight for love. You just need to become the place where love feels safe to land. Because in the end, it's not about how many hearts you touch. It's about how deeply you dare to touch your own first. And when you do, when you move from that place, love isn't something you chase. It becomes something you attract by simply being. Stay grounded, stay open, stay unapologetically rare, because the woman who moves with meaning isn't remembered for how she looked or what she gave. She's remembered for the silence she transformed, the truth she carried, and the moment he realized he'll never find another like her.